there's a class of companies that we call zombie companies, and they're effectively companies that can't meet their principal and interest repayments. They can meet operating costs, and then that goes on for a number of years. Well, Virgin sat in that class of business, so it's fair to say they've had problems now for an extended period, and you kind of think that COVID-19 may have brought on what needed to happen with Virgin, and I wonder whether or not somewhat of the appointment has been strategic to deal with some of those issues. So I think what is going to happen with Virgin is hopefully very different than what happened with Ansett, and that's probably more circumstantial. But there are going to be some really interesting buyer plays come out of this, and that's going to be in relation to the stakeholders of very different interests. So if we look at who's secured over Virgin at the moment, most of them are over specific planes. There's no, as I understand it, no security that blankets the entirety of the business. So
there's a constant pressure, I guess, at that listed level where shareholders want more value from their investment and more profits and more growth. But arguably, they moved away from that low cost model, core operating model, and they had to add on more and more and more from that demand from the shareholder or the executive level to do more, the board level. They need to do more. They need to do this and this and this, because there's a constant pressure to grow and to provide better returns. The core operating model, or your core product or service you offer, you don't want to get in the past couple of years, you don't want to get diverted from that, even if you add to it. But now is a time that you can pivot and reset what that model looks like clearly, and then start to work towards that. Sorry,
Angelina, I wanted to ask you another thing that this particular article brings up, and actually Daniel identified it even more so than what I was aware, is competing secured creditor interests. So
I don't think that anything is going to change in terms of competing interests between secured creditors just because of COVID-19. I think what is going to change are things that are happening in Virgin, for example, like Perth Airport trying to retain the aircraft and exercise liens. I think people are trying to explore and exploit any opportunity that they have to get priority, whether or not it's right at law or not, just to put additional pressure to get their money back. And I think what happens with over-leveraged businesses like Virgin is that there is so much debt which they've acquired cheaply, like you've said, and that debt still exists from the creditor's perspective to pay their ongoing liabilities as well. COVID-19's ongoing impact in the creditor space will really be about exerting as much power as they possibly can